Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for being here. And I'd like to thank my moderators and my subscribers and any new subscribers. And if you're watching this on the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Today, we are going to make a mason jar koozie. Summertime, it's hot. We like to drink cold drinks. And this way, it keeps your hand from getting too cold. And it also will aid in keeping your drink either warm or cold, whichever beverage you have in there. And also, if you have like ice, it'll keep the condensation from getting slippery and also acts as a coaster. Anyway, so I got this jar at it's a canning jar, and I got it at the Dollar Tree, and then these excuse me, these lids I got at Walmart, and who knows where I got the straws? You get them anywhere, and sometimes they'll come with the silicone um, tips, and sometimes you can just I just find them every time I see them. I because I don't need to be chipping my teeth on a metal straw. But anyway, so that's what we're doing today. So I did put the materials and supplies in the description, and I'm going to say hello to people that are here. Hi, Kelly. Thank you for coming in. And DB. And let's see, who else do we have? And Robin S. and Lucille Boykins. Thank you for coming in. And Robin's Creations. Thank you for coming in. This is easy, and we're going to do quilting. And quilting is this is easy, and you could say you could quilt. So this you will need two pieces of um, 11 and a half by 4 inches. This is going to be your main piece, and then the other one will be your lining. It's your choice what you want to do, if you want them all to be the same or coordinating colors. This one just called out to me. It was just happy, and then you will need, oh, and then you'll cut 2, 3, and 0.78 circles. This will be the bottom of your lining and the bottom of your main piece. And then also 11 and a half by 1.5. No, is that right? That's correct. 11 and a half by 1.5. And this will be your trim. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Marlies. So the trim. Then you're going to need two pieces of batting, which this is warm and natural batting. So it's a cotton batting, and it will help to insulate the thing. You can use whatever you want to use. Just need something, and you could do like it's kind of like a fussy cut, where you just need it to be bigger for the quilting, and then once you get the quilting done, then you just trim it down. So I did mine at 12 inches wide and 4.5 inches tall, and then this I did for 4.25, 4.25. And so anyway, you your other supplies that you will need is a ruler. I'm grabbing the wrong one, but anyway, a ruler and a rotary cutter. And I'm so proud of myself. I did use the rotary cutter this time, and no injuries. I'm very mindful of that. Hi, Patricia. 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 Um, Rotary cutter, um, ruler, a marking pen. I'm using the Cricut one. This one you have to like wash it, but the one that I put in the description, that one disappears with heat. So when you iron it, the lines disappear, and I'm sure that's going to be easier. That is in my Amazon list. Of course, scissors, and then you need a basting spray, but I don't have a basting spray, but I do have the stick version of this, and it works too. So, and then pins and a sewing machine. Okay, so the first, let me get all these tools out of the way. Let's see. Oh, and an iron and the jar. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to quilt the outside. And how you do that is, let me get the lining pieces. So you'll need your main piece and your bottom to that. So I'm just going to get these other three pieces out of the way. So I'm just going to do a dab of this. I've never heard of basting spray before until I started following the community with their embroidery. And hi, Stephanie. In case you didn't catch it, we're making a mason jar koozie for our summer drinks. Hi, D. Smith. So all the measurements, everything is in the description. So then, oh, here it is. So then so we have this basted on here. And then we're going to take your ruler and you're going to put the ruler from the top corner to the bottom corner, but I mean the top left corner to the bottom right corner, and get in that corner there. And then you're going to draw your line. This, you see the trouble I have. I had to get a fresh pin because with the aqua in here, the pin is aqua. And then you're going to lay your 1/2 inch line on top of that line and draw again. And so you're just going to repeat this. And of course, this is 1/2 inch that I'm doing. You can do whatever you want to do your stitches. Again, trying to find my line here that I just drew. There it is. Usually when I use this pen, I'm using the back side of the fabric. But that won't work with this. These make really nice gifts, and you can do like any kind of gift giving thing. Like you can give the jar with the koozie on the bottom, and fill it with treats. You can coordinate your fabric for any particular holiday. So when you get done from that middle to the edge, then you just turn it, and then you do this again uh, to this side. And then for your round one, going to do, you're going to fold it up in half and just give it a little press here, finger press, and then bring it down. Now you see this crease. So that is how you're going to mark like your corners. Hi, Stacy, Lady Bear. Hi, Jessie. Thank you guys for coming in. And then so now my edge is on that crease, and I'm going to mark my first line. Then I'm going to put my half-inch mark or line on there and then continue doing this. And I was getting ahead of myself, sorry. Hi, Beverly. Thank you for coming in. We're making jar koozies. These would be even fun at like a outdoor wedding and let the guests have them as a party favor. So now I have all my lines for the bottom and for the main piece. Hey, Sophia. So I'm going to start stitching with the first line that was up in that corner down to the other opposite corner. And for this, for the quilting part, you don't have to do back stitching because these ends are going to be caught up or sewn into the seam when you're sewing it together. I put a mouse pad underneath my pedal because it keeps going away, but then the tile is so slick that the mouse pad doesn't stick either. I'll have to fix that since I'm doing a lot of sewing now. All right, so then I'm just lining up the center of my presser foot to that line. And then you just move over to the next line. Hello, Laura. Thank you for coming in. And then when you're done with this side, from the middle to this edge, you just turn it over and go from this, from your first point to this edge. Excuse me, this edge. Um, I can't really see. So my edge of my fabric got caught underneath the presser foot. So just make sure your needle is down into your fabric, lift your presser foot, and then bring it back, and then fix the fabric, and then get down there. I mean, continue. Now, depending on your batting, hello, Jennifer. Hi, I'm biased. Depending on the batting that you're using, you may need a walking foot, and but for this particular batting, I don't need it. I haven't had any problem with it. And I don't know if there's a walking foot for this machine. It's basic, real basic, but it's perfect. I mean, as far as what I need. Or okay, so I'm done with the quilting on the main piece. Then we'll do the the bottom. This is what we're making. This is a good project to practice your straight stitching on. My Viking, I've had my Viking since 1971, and so they don't make parts for it anymore. But anyway, it was solid. This one is This one is really lightweight, where it's like I really have to control, because it'll just take off. Um, the fabric will go. I guess grit would be the. But we're not going to talk bad about the little Janome. She's good. Okay, now we're just going to clean up all these threads. Well, I'm going to go ahead and trim this. So then you're going to trim this away, because I'll take care of most of these threads. Then you just trim away that extra batting. And the reason why you make the batting larger is because with the quilting, it may shift it. So you want to make sure that your batting is wider than your main piece that you're quilting. I'm going to go ahead and get that. So that's our bottom. And then here's our main piece. Oh, let me check my threads. I'm going to keep your project clean. Thank you, Unbiased. I appreciate that. Have a good day. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to attach the trim piece to this. So I want my lemons this way. Oh, trim piece. Hello, Gail. Okay, so we're going to match up our and this is when you want to make sure if you're using directional fabric that you have it in the direction you want it. So mine was laying like this, but I want it to wrap around the jar like this. So my trim will go up on top here. Hi, Nikki. And my my trim is non-directional, so that's going to work out perfect right there. And I'm using pins. That's how I learned. I'll get used to clips. I can tell you my cuts are much better using the rotary than it was with the me drawing and cutting by hand. Hello, Blue Lotus. Thank you for coming in. Isn't it happy, Robin? It's just, and then with the aqua in there, I just love it. Okay, so now we will be using the back stitch for this to lock it in place. I think that's why people don't use pins very often. I just got poked. No blood on camera. Okay, so we're going to use a 1/4 inch seam for this, which is right along the edge of the presser foot. Hey, craftable things, thank you for coming in. We're making jar koozies. Whoops, almost cut my fabric. So then we're going to pull up your lining and just finger press it. I mean, not your lining, your trim piece. Then you take your lining and match that up at the top to your top edge and make sure you have your side. And again, if you're using directional fabric, you want to make sure that it's going to be in the right way. I always choose something where I don't have to do that. Like the main piece can be directional, but then the lining piece and the trim piece, I like to have complementary fabric that's non-directional. And then we're going to sew this um, 1/4 inch seam, do a little back step at both ends. Sorry, I had to be very quiet. Somebody was at my door. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, so then um, we're going to press the quilted piece, that seam up forward, and then we're going to press this lining seam down. And then I'm going to flip it over and then press it again this way. I just did a rookie mistake and didn't have my iron on, but it heats up fast. So, so I actually use my auto press mat as an ironing board when I'm doing crafts here. Otherwise, if I'm ironing real ironing like clothes, which who does that anymore? But if I was making a dress, I have my ironing board. Okay, this is the lining, this is the main part, and of course the trim. So then we're just going to take this and fold it in half like that. And we're going to match up these seams. Hi up Designs, thank you for coming in. So we're going to match up these seams and pin, making sure that you catch your seam here and seam here going the same direction. I pin right on that stitch line so I know I have that matched up nicely. Okay, then you can pin the rest of this. We're going to leave this open and we're leaving this open, and this is your fold. Hi, Niall. Thank you for coming in, for watching. We're making mason jar koozies. I have to turn my fan on now that the iron is on. Okay, so then we'll be stitching from here, and then we need to leave an opening here so we can turn it. This is the lining. So I'm just going to match this corner. And I always leave, I just always leave this hole too small, but I do get it turned. So that's going to do that. And then I'm going to mark this because using less pins for me is better. So I'm going to stop sewing there and here. Pick it up back there. Again, we're using 1/4 inch seams. And we're going to back stitch at both ends, or back stitch every time we stop and pick up the needle. So I from here to here, and now I'm going to start here and go all the way to the end. You want to make sure that this batting edge, because this is the open part, you want to make sure that it does get under the presser foot, because it has a tendency to lift. And so you want to just make sure your needle's in the fabric and lift the presser foot. Okay, then we just trim away all these threads. Okay, now we're going to mark. So here is my stitch seam, and here's our fold. So what we're going to do is just kind of finger press that fold, and then you're going to, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself again. When I'm practicing this, I need to practice talking too. So you're going to find this fold, and then you're just going to stick a pin in it just as a little marking thing. You're not pinning anything, you're just sticking a pin in to mark it. And I always make sure that the fabric underneath is uh, not to make sure it's flat. So there we have that. And are we doing the lining too? And then we're going to take that, and then you're going to match up the seams. You want to open up this seam here, and then make sure that the fabric is not um, batch. I am not thinking of the word. You want to make sure it's laying flat in there, and then you're going to um, stick a pin in it. Bunched up, that's the word I'm looking for. They're going to do the same. I'm sorry. Okay, do the same for lining. Okay, so we're going to do the same for lining. Okay, so then here. So then we're going to do the same thing for our bottom. We're going to fold this in half, and then this is then we mark this, and then mark this other side. Then we're going to open that up, and then we're going to match those pins. Make sure the fabric's not bunched up behind there. And then we're going to match this. Then you do the same for the lining. Looks like taco. Then you open that up, match the pins. Finger press. Okay, there we have our lining. All right, and yes, I wrote down all the instructions and I'm reading it. So do the same for the lining. Now fold separate piece in half, pin, find centers, repeat for lining piece, right sides together, match pins, bottom and main wrap. Okay, so now we're going to take this and now we're going to match the bottom piece. This is the quilted part, the main wrap, and you're going to match. I didn't put a pin. I didn't put in. I didn't put a pin in that piece, but match it up. So then you're going to match right sides to right sides, matching the pin. I'm matching this pin with the seam. And then you're going to pin it. I'm being poked by all these other pins. Then you go to the other side. You go directly across from it and match up these pins. And then you just take out one pin and then you pin it before you remove the other pen. Now you go to the sides, you do the same thing. Bring out this bottom, match the fabric, match the pins. Only take out one pin and pin it, and then remove the other pin. Go to the other side, match up the pins, remove one to stick it in there. Ouch. And then remove that one. So now we have this, and then we're just going to go ahead and then match up. I mean, you know, just make this fit in there and make sure that this is not bunched up in there. Okay, so got my edges even. Lining it up. Hi, Mama Bear. Thank you for coming in. Making the jar koozies. And the last section. Hi, Diane. Need to make some more bowl ones. Yes. I love those. Okay, so now I have the bottom, the quilted piece of the bottom connected to the top part. I mean the main part, the wrap. And I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom part of the lining. We're going to start with the fold. Make sure this is open. And then matching the right side and the right side of the bottom and the right side of the lining. Pin it and remove that pin. Then go directly across to the others one. Sorry if you can't see me. And match those two pins together. Then pin it. And then remove the other pin. Now we're going to do the sides of it. Matching those pins. And removing. Hi, precious pieces. I lost this pin somewhere, but but it's folded, so I know that's where that goes. I'm like looking for the pin. Here it is. We can't have a rogue pin around here. I step on it with my bare foot. Happy to have found it. Thank you, Lord Jesus. All right, so then I'm going to fold those. I'm going to pin those. And now we have all 4 pins there. Then we're going to do the same thing, match up the edges in between 2 pins. This is the bottom of the lining, and then you just stretch to get it to fit in there, manipulate it, but keep the edges matching. Hi, Carol Coleman. Thank you for coming in. I'm going to make sure this is down. And then the last section. Okie dokie. Now the super fun part starts. Sewing those together. So we want this is the bottom. We want that to your machine, and then you just keep this out of the way, and it's not that difficult. It's just time to, I mean, I'm sorry, I was seeing up designs. Have a good day at work. Thank you for spending a little bit of your lunch with us. Um, so you want the bottom to stay to the machine and then keep this out of the way of getting sewn in there. you do you do back stitch. Okay. All right. And we're still using 1/4 inch seam. I'm not going to start at the seam. I'm not going to start at the seam. I figure by the time I get around to that area, the machine will be. All right. I don't want to run over any pins. Okay, press your foot down. You see. Do that. Hey, Angie. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Okay, my needle is in and my presser foot is up, and I'm just getting this seam open and under the uh, and sewing open it. Back stitch, and so we've gone all the way around. I'm going to trim these threads. And then I'm going to do a second stitch, because when you get ice in these and your drink, it could get heavy, and so you just want to make sure your bottoms are secured. So just the same thing, back stitch. Oh, I forgot you can't hear me when it's going because of the, anyway, you're going to back stitch, when you start and when you finish, and a 1/4 inch seam. Second time is easier because you're not having to worry about where those pins are. Hey, Bobby, welcome in. And that completes the bottom of the main piece. Now we're going to do the lining part. Same thing, we want to have the bottom on the sewing machine bed, and you're going to be working on the top part. Here's my opening here. It seems small, but that's how I roll. Don't mean to do it that way, but it happens. All right. Because there's not so much bulk with this seam, I can start there. The one with the batting was too thick for my comfort zone. Fabric's bunching up under there. Hi, Colleen. Welcome. And for those of you that are watching in fright, when I have my fingers, well, you can't even see. When I have my fingers under here, my foot is off the pedal because you know how we accidentally touch that pedal and don't want your fingers under the needle. But my lining is bunching up. Oh, I can stick my finger in there. Okay, let me just take a breath. Wow, the quilted piece was easier than this. This is just thinner fabric. Okay. We've got a little bit of pleating right there where it got bunched up, but that's the lining and it'll be fine. It's not gonna it's not gonna affect anything. This one is perfect. All right, so again, we're gonna just go another round on that. It should be not as finicky as the first round because it's stitched together now. I just need to give it a extra little protective stitching. You want to make sure the bottom is touching on your machine. Let's start here. Around. Okay. I say it's going to be easier, but still have to make sure that you're not getting anything bunched up underneath here. Does that really mess up the inside? Let me see. And if you're interested in making these, all the information is um, in the description as far as the measurements, the materials that you need, and the supplies. Um, I'm not able yet to provide like Amazon links or anything like that. Soon, but not today. Okay, that completes round 2 of the lining, sewing the bottom to the lining, sewing the bottom of the lining to the oh, laugh with me. Okay, so then as you know, like whatever you're working with, like vinyl or anything like that, when you're doing circles, to ease some of the tension of this, you're going to just give some clips. And you don't want to clip into your seam, but it's okay if you clip into the quilting seams because they go all the way to the edge. So I'm going to quickly do that, being mindful not to clip the edge, I mean the seam. And actually I should go ahead and just trim it a little bit first to reduce some of that bulk. And this batting will help keep your drink warm, or whatever temperature it goes in, it's gonna hold that longer. um so if you have ice and stuff, and so if you have ice, then you know how condensation happens, and so this will capture the condensation, and then it's not going to be slippery in your hand, and it'll act like a coaster. Okay. Then you can go ahead and trim some of this, but you don't want to trim where you need to turn it. You want all of that seam so that you can fold it in and stitch it. So just a little bit. To remove some of that bulk. All right, let's do this. So we're going to just turn this inside, turn it right side out. No matter how hard I try, I never leave a big opening. So I'm just reaching my fingers in here and I'm trying to grab a hold of down here. And then I'm hanging on to that as I'm pulling this. And then that just seems to be working. If anybody has some really good suggestions, go ahead and put it in the chat. Help all of us out. Hey, that's not bad at all. Look how good. Match those seams. Did a good job. So then I have my fingers in here and I'm just pushing out the bottom of the quilted part. Oh, this is so pretty. That's so nice. And because I used the washable fabric pen, I have to I just take a wet washcloth and then I rinse that off. If you use the pin, then hi, I'm biased. If you use the pin that I have in the description, when you iron this, then that pin it disappears. So see, my lining got a little puckery there, but that's going to be fine. Okay, so then we're going to push this inside. And you want to make sure your lining is up. That is so cute. Oh my goodness, it's so cheery on the inside as it is on the outside. Oh, guess what I forgot to do? Oh, it's not too late. Thank you, Jessie. Thank you, Unbiased. Okay, so we still have this opening. Now, wouldn't that have been a fun surprise for somebody if I gifted this? Um, the So you want to make sure that you're tucking in a seam allowance there, making sure that's enough in there. I always have to put a glove on so I have some grip to push it. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Marlise. Thank you, Unbiased. Thank you, Jesse. So then we're just going to do, this is the only time we do a different thing. So now I'm going to use 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and just stitch across here to close this up. Back stitch. Glad you guys caught that. Get rid of that. So see, it's just you can't, I can't see it, but it's just a tiny little stitch. Then we'll go back to, boy, this just makes me happy. I mean, the colors are so bright and so summery. The lemons, the aqua, sunshine, and you got to have lemonade in this one, right? So I'm just making sure that the lining is down in there. And then making sure the trim is even. So I'm going to, well, to make sure my seams are matched up. You want to make sure your trim is equal. Like a 1/2 inch. Because then we're going to top stitch. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to top stitch, and you're going to be doing it this way. So you're going to be folding this out so you can go right like this. And I'm putting the center of my presser foot along this edge here, making sure I don't stitch that underneath there. So we start with the seam. Let's see. And then so I'll press this, and to do the bottom, you can go ahead and put it on a jar because it's a canning jar, and then you could do like the easy press, um uh the mini press, whatever mini iron you have, and then just iron that to get the seams good. Um so yeah, this is what we made today. A nice cheery inside. Um, I love it. I love the aqua and the yellow. The other one I got, the other one I'm going to do today, but not on live. I won't keep you guys. But I have this, and then this is the lining, and this is the trim. Let's get this together here. Let me get it together. So that's one I'm going to do. I'll be sewing. I'll be sewing today. And let me see what other. So I like to do trays. They don't even have to be fancy trays. They could just be, from Sam's Club or Costco, whatever you have when they're tossing out all those things. So I have more of those. And my other combination I have is the hearts with the teal. So this is going to be another koozie, another jar koozie. More lemons. And then this one, where's my bottom? Hey, Connie. It's gray and the teal. Too pretty. Yep. So I have all these ready to go, ready to keep on sewing today. Okay. How is everybody? Why instead of block dots, sewing gives you thread bits. Thank you, Jessie. I love that. Now I have to find I have I have a yellow, oh, it's a yellow and blue lid like this, but I don't have a tip. We'll just have to do something different. But you could use, I have glass straws and I have plastic straws too. I like the metal straws though, because sometimes I'll put some uh, essential oils in there. If you do that, make sure that it is a brand that you can do um, take internally. Not all of them you can't. Okay, Nikki, you're listening while you work. Yeah, and that's the thing is like when you're um learn when you're making something and there's a video tutorial to watch while you're doing it, then you could press pause and then work on what the creator is doing at that time, and then continue on with the video um, and get and work with it. So, like I said, I can't see it in the here, but my lines, that washable pen kind of matches the fabric. But anyway, okay, DV. Oh, running. I thought you were running errands. Okay. Um, it's been an hour and 42 minutes. And so I like to kind of keep them at an hour, but it's kind of hard when you're doing a tutorial. So, um, um, anyway, so I won't keep you any longer. I thank you and I appreciate every single one of you and those that are coming back and watching the replay, or those of you that are going to watch the replay tonight or whenever you're going to watch it. Be sure and hit the like button and leave a comment under the video. That helps. So have a great day. This is hump day, as somebody had said. So this is the middle of the week. And Friday is 4th of July. So those that celebrate, please have a happy and safe holiday. I have international subscribers now, and so they don't celebrate American holidays. So thank you, DB. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, everybody. Oh, got my scissors instead of my mouse. Thank you so much. And enjoy. I hope that you make some.